Well, hello, you're very welcome back to the channel here today, and we're in a lovely spot here in County Down between Annahilt, Dromore and Dromara. We're in the townland of Growell, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a history walk back in time and consider the life of a very famous inventor, pilot, racing car driver, business magnate, entrepreneur and engineer. And of course I'm referring to the main man himself, being Harry Ferguson. So Harry was born in 1884. He was born here at the townland of Growell, the farm I'm going to take you to in a little second. And there's a lovely initial sign here that can chat you through his life. I'll just stop it here so you can pause the video if you want to read that. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to walk you down here, and I'm just going to give you a bit of a summary of Harry's very eventful life. As I said, he was born in 1884 here in the townland of Growell between Annahilt, Dromore and Dromara in County Down. And the first thing Harry's famous for, he's famous for being a mechanic. And in 1902, let's just go in here. Of course, I'm trying the wrong gate. People are laughing at me walking past. In 1902, he became a mechanic, and he started up a business with his brother down in the Shankill in Belfast. And that's initially what he did. He was a mechanic in 1902, and then in 1904 he went on to be a racing car driver, and he was referred to as the mad mechanic. So he was a bit of a petrol head, and he later produced the first four-wheel drive Grand Prix car to win an F1 event, and it was referred to as the Ferguson P99. And then of course in 1909 he became a pilot, and he was so inspired by the Wright brothers. Look at the lovely scenery. He was so inspired by the Wright brothers, their adventures in North America in 1903, that he took off in nearby Hillsborough, which is just over there, and he was the first Irishman. He was the first man in Ireland to fly a plane, the 31st of December 1909, and then of course 8 months later, more famously, he flew 3 miles in Newcastle, County Down, and won the £100 prize. And then in 1920 he was a very infamous inventor. He created the 3-point linkage system, which I'll show you in a second, which is mechanical and hydraulic hitches. In 1938 he became a very famous entrepreneur, and he shook hands on that deal with the very famous Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, whereby Ford could use the patents of Ferguson's inventions and systems. And then in 1953 he became a business magnate when his patents had dried up in 1952, and his Ferguson company merged with the very globally entrenched Massey Harris, and of course today it's known as Massey Ferguson. And then Harry Ferguson passed away in 1960. So in Gloucestershire, England. So let's just walk down here. Oh, sounds like there's a bit of a shotgun off there. Sounds like they're doing a bit of clay pigeon shooting or something. Anyway, let's just take a walk down here, and let's go down the walk here. So here is the first sign, the 3-point linkage system, and that was Harry Ferguson, the inventor. And of course he's very famous for that hitch. Tractors here in the land, where that shotgun just went off. Look at the shape, look afraid. Tractors before, their ploughing instruments and other machinery on the back didn't quite, the mechanical and the hydraulics wasn't easy to connect them to. And what Harry did was he connected a hitch on the back of the tractor to allow the plough to attach itself a little bit easier. Hopefully you can see that, to the back of the tractor, and then the tractor could use its horsepower to drive the instrument on the back. So if you want to pause the video, that will walk you through the sign of what Harry achieved with the 3-point linkage system. It really did revolutionise modern agriculture, not just in Ireland, but all over the world. And essentially, when his patents died up in the 1950s, New Holland, Ford, every single tractor you could imagine, Davy Brown, they all used the hydraulic system. And here's Harry Ferguson, not the inventor, but Harry Ferguson, the motoring enthusiast. There's a picture of the great man there. And you can see there's all the cars he was involved in. I mentioned about, he designed the P99 system, and he won one of the Grand Prix events there. So I'll just pull that back, and if you want to read that, you can pause the video now. Okay, so we've thought about Harry Ferguson, the inventor. We've thought about Harry Ferguson, the racing car driver, and now we're going to go on and look at Harry Ferguson, the farming business magnate, And of course, Harry Ferguson is surely best known for having his surname being in the world famous Massey Ferguson company. Of course, if it's not red, leave it in the shade. There's a wee 35 there. And there's the 2008 more modern 8690. So we'll just, you can pause the video there if you'd like to read that. I know it's a little bit unclear with the leaves. Alright, let's go a little bit further down the pathway as we consider more about the life of Harry Ferguson. Got a little surprise for you at the end. Looks like someone is up there, and that person is waiting on me to finish this video and chat through Harry's life. Here's Harry Ferguson, the aviation pilot enthusiast. I said that he flew over Hillsborough. There's a bit of a picture, or a bit of a drawing illustration of Harry Ferguson's flight over Hillsborough. Here's one. Here's a tractor here. It looks like it's a Ford or a New Holland, does it? Yep. There you go. That hedge trimmers in the back of that were lifted up with a 3-point linkage system. So thanks to this man that designed the invention that allowed that New Holland or Ford that was racing past to be able to cut hedges today. So there you go. So there, hopefully there's some aviation reading material if you want to pause the video. So Harry Ferguson, of course, flew across Hillsborough village, and then 8 months later he flew across Dundrum Bay in Newcastle, County Down, and won the £100 prize. So let's go a little bit further down here. That beautiful scenery. There's Lochacre. Here we go. Here's another tractor. New Holland this time. He's not using it. Well, he is using the 3-point linkage system. He's used his trailer to pull those 12 or 14 silage bales. Here we go. Harry Ferguson himself, before he merged with Massey Harris to create Massey Ferguson, he created and stuck to the production line these beautiful grey Fergies that we refer to in Ulster, and they're still all around the land here. I'm going to be going past through Anahilt village, and there's one there. Here's another tractor. You can't get away from them, these New Hollands. They're doing busy farming here in November. So there's another piece of information if you want to pause the video to read more about the grey Fergies that went in the production line in the 30s, 40s and 50s before, of course, Harry merged his companies with Massey Harris to create Massey Ferguson, and the grey was done away with and it's replaced with the red today. And here is the biographical background about Harry here. Very interesting history about his life and about where he grew up in Growell. I said he was a mechanic down the Shankill. There was his workshop with his brother Joe. There's the Homestead, which I'm going to just show you now. And this is a very agricultural place, because there's Lakeline Dairies going back with their with the milk. Here's Harry Ferguson and the family and the team with the early part of the invention, the 3-point hitch there. Early part of the 20th century. And of course, if you're from Northern Ireland, you'll have had those in your pockets down the years of Harry Ferguson and his 20 quid note. So we're just walking down to finish the video. I know I've droned on, but at the end of the day, Harry achieved an awful lot. And just before we see the memorial statue, here is the homestead where Harry grew up. Look at that beautiful day. Just beside it, you've got Sleeve Crib, and there's Lochacre shining. And then there's the blue plaque, the birthplace of Harry George Ferguson, engineer and inventor, 1884 to 1960, and of course many other things. So this is the farmstead, the farm at Growell, where Harry would have been born and lived. Those early years, of course, he would have walked across the road, and this is a statue of Harry. So we'll just go around the other side. So Harry, how are you doing? Are you doing well? There he is there. Of course, this was a memorial garden built in 2008 with many enthusiasts of the great man himself. And here he is here reflecting on all his life's achievements between 1884 and 1960. And of course what he's doing is he's holding the spanner, signifying his background as an inventor, but also he was a farmer. He was involved in the farming of this land, and I'm sure as he leans on the gate and he looks out over the land here, he would have, I'll just stand on this seat here. He would have looked out over the land and he would have thought, how could I help my fellow Ulstermen, and how could I make their life easier? There's the boys with the guns. Anyway, Harry would have looked out over the land here and wondered how he could make the life of the Ulster farmer easier. And what he did was he used his great mind and he created the 3-point hitch, and that has revolutionized farming all over the world today, using the power of the tractor and using his inventions to attach plows and trailers and all sorts of things to the back of the tractor. It improved safety, it improved agricultural capacity. It's incredible to think a great man like this, born in this house, has changed the world. So there you go. So here's just a thought of Harry Ferguson, the inventor, the racing car driver, the business maggot, the entrepreneur, the pilot and the engineer, and of course, by nature, the farmer. Wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful day.